Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about a common Calc 1 question that you're going to see often on your homework. So let's just jump straight into it. It's going to be a quick video. So let f and g be the functions whose graphs are shown below. Okay, so you can see that we have just a pair of linear functions. So it's saying let u be f of x times g of x, and let v of x be f with f of x being its x. So So we're given a function that's made up of two other functions. So before we do anything, let's just see what happens when we try to take its derivative. So let's see. So u prime of x, according to the product rule, would be f prime of x times g of x plus f of x times g prime of x. Okay? So we're looking for u prime of 3. So what would that be? So first of all, there's four functions that we need to know in order to plug this in. So let's first find out what f of 3 is. Then we're going to find out what g of 3 is. Then f prime of 3 and g prime of 3. Okay, so looking at this function right here, we can see that 3 is right here. So we just line that up right here. Okay, we can see that f prime of 3 is equal to 4. Okay, we can see that g at 3 would be equal to 0. And then for f prime of 3, we don't know the actual equation for this graph, but seeing that it's a linear function, what else do we know about the derivative? It just describes the slope of a function at that point. Okay, so f prime of 3, so we follow this up here. So we want to find around 3, what is this slope right here? So what we can do, we can just take the rise over the run. So we can see that, let's take 2 points that are on the actual line. We can see that it's y2 would be 4 minus this point here, which is -1. Okay, and then our x is 3, and it starts at 1. So we get 5/2. So the same thing can be done for g prime of 3. So where it's over here, we can see that it's a downward slope. We can take the rise over the run. So let's choose this point and this point because they're on the lines. Okay. So y2 would be equal to 0 minus 1, and then x is 3, and x1 is just 1. Sorry, -1. So we can see that g prime of 3 is equal to -1/4. So it's pretty much that's all you need to do. So we can just plug that in. So that would be f prime of 3, 5/2 times 0 plus 4 times -1/4. So this cancels out, and we just get -1 because these cancel out. So u prime of 3 is -1. All right, so the next thing is we want to find v of x, which is equal to f of x. So we're trying to find v prime of -2. Okay, so let's just differentiate this function, which would be f prime of f of x. And remember the chain rule, we have to multiply by the derivative on the inside. Okay, so this one, it's saying v prime at -2. So we have to first look what is going on at -2, because it won't be the same slope that we calculated earlier, because you can see that it changes around -2. So we have to calculate it once more. So, okay, so f prime at -2 would be, let's choose this point, which reaches -1, and this point, which reaches -2. So we have y2 is -1 minus -2 over over. So let's choose this point, which is -1 and starts from -2. So we have -1 minus -2 all over 1 minus -2. So this just comes out to be -1 over 3. Sorry, 1 over 3. Okay, so we can see that so this comes out to being 1 over 3. So we can see that f prime of -2 is equal to 1 over 3. So what we can see right here is f prime times f of -2 times 1 over 3. But first of all, we need to make sure that this inside function is what is either this linear part or this linear part right here. So what is f of -2? We can see that f of -2 is just -2. So this is also the same thing as saying f of prime of -2 times 1 over 3. So this just becomes 1 over 3 times 1 over 3, which is just 1 over 9. And that's our answer.